Well, good afternoon, brethren, for yet another weekly vlog. One question I've had this week is about non-payment of subscriptions. If I quote it, there's some disquiet about subscriptions, some requesting reductions, which, if I remember, has already been mentioned by the PGM in one of his vlogs. However, once the 6 months or 9 months exclusion comes round, how should I deal with that? Well, what I'm going to say to you, Brother Secretary, whoever you are, why haven't they paid? Your bylaws will say, okay, subscriptions are payable, are due and payable in advance on, let's say, the 1st of March. Well, what that means is, on the 2nd of March, if they haven't paid, they're in arrears. And therefore, if they then come up for liability to exclude in September, then you can quite rightly exclude them. That said, we need to deal with this sensitively. We always need to deal with non-payment of subscriptions sensitively. Why haven't they paid? In this pandemic crisis, are they struggling financially? Do they need the support of Dorset Masonic Care? But don't just go wading in, please, and say, you're in arrears, you're liable for exclusion unless you pay up. Times are hard. We all know that. Deal with it sensitively and see if you can come to some sensible conclusion amicably between the two of you. Many of you are asking, okay, when are we going to go back? What are we going to do with our lodge rooms? How are we going to make sure they're safe? Well, Masonic Mutual, the insurance company that insures, I guess, many of our temples, has issued guidelines on that, and that would probably have been sent to the treasurer of the Masonic Hall Committee. They lay down a good basis for getting us back into our full Masonic meetings. But are we in a hurry to go back to our full Masonic meetings? Let's look at our older people, our older members. Anybody over 70, the government has classed as vulnerable. Let's bear that in mind. Let's not rush. Let's do it properly. Let's do it safely. Earlier this week, I had a Zoom conference meeting with a number of entered apprentices and fellow crafts. After a quick talk from a Master Mason who had only just been raised to the 3rd degree, telling of his experiences, and then me telling him of my experiences back in the 1980s when the DC ruled and there were no questions to be asked of him, they eased a little and questions were being fired at me. We'd set the meeting up for an hour. It went on for an hour and 20 minutes. I thank those entered apprentices and those fellow crafts and the newly appointed or newly raised Master Masons for their time, their questions, and for allowing me to talk to them directly. As you know, I've already met with my visiting officers and heads of other orders in the craft. Now the time has come for me to venture into visiting Grand Officers in the Royal Arch and talk to them about where the future is going. The Dorset Masonic Calendar is due for publication on Midas tomorrow, Monday. It's there, please use it. I've set up a working party. They will report back with their suggestions, which I will take a great deal of notice of. But, as I said last week, I want to beware of our carbon footprint and make sure that Dorset Freemasonry is looking after the environment as well as everyone else. Just moving forward, I've had another question from a learned brother who saw the Union flag, not the Jack, because that's the flagpole it sits on, as my wife, who was in the Navy, constantly tells me. It's the Union flag, and one mustn't argue with senior management. The question that has come in is your Union flag the right way up? Well, I got this Union flag, or rather I got it for senior management back in 2012 when the Olympics were on, and this is what it reads: I saw the flame. So therefore, worshipful brother, thank you for asking the question, but I assure you it is the right way up. Well, that's really all I've got for you this week. What I've said to you is said from my heart. It's to keep you all in touch, to keep well, keep safe, and please, until next week, keep smiling.